Kim, Measurehead got the body out of the tree. Time to investigate. I really shouldn't continue jokes from the pre-stream when I start the game, because no one's gonna get that, like, if anyone watches this after the fact. Like, no one's gonna understand what that voice is, but...
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Beautiful. We wipe a tear from our eye.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
Oh, are we going to perform that right here?
Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
All right, we're just gonna get fist deep into it, huh?
The fuck are they on about?
Kuno, come over here, lad. You might, I think you might enjoy this.
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
Don't we have someone else to cut his shit open?
It's not about cutting. And no, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain, from autopsy to cleanup to social work.
Wow, we're just like jack of all trades. And I guess this must mean we've done this before, even if I can't remember. Wait, honorary rank of detective?
An honor and a burden attached to your rank once you've proven yourself able, usually after 5 to 8 years of field work. Mine is lieutenant detective.
Yes, I feel like a detective.
You are. Your station would not have assigned you on this case if you weren't. Now, the way I see it...
He looks at the corpse with some disgust.
It's either this, or we complete the initial interviews. We already met Evrard, that only leaves the Wild Pines representative. There's one in town, negotiating the strike. She could have information.
Okay, so the company rep. It's true, we have not talked to anyone who's actually from the company. We spoke to the union guys, and we spoke to Scab Leader, but no one from the company. No, we're doing this now. We're doing it right now.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
First, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
Do you have another pair of gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
I have gardening gloves. Maybe they're enough.
They're better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things, while you will take notes.
We just fill this in, right? We show him the red field autopsy form in our ledger. Hey, if we didn't get the ledger, I guess we wouldn't have that option.
That's right.
Open our ledger.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
Number 1, assistant.
That's you.
Right, Raphael Ambrosius Custo.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says...
2, coroner's case number...
KK57-0803.0815.
We'll write that down.
Next.
Name.
NA. Next.
Date of birth.
NA.
Age.
Roughly 50.
We write roughly 50.
The corpse looks ageless, like meat on a hook.
I don't know, it sounds like his body has not been aging very well from what we've been told.
Teeming with opportunistic microorganisms, letting out a foul-smelling diamine compound. Your eyes turn watery.
We can handle it. Race?
Mondial.
Rewrite that down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex?
Fucky fucky!
Not that kind.
Male.
Pigs can have sex.
Sure.
Naively, The lieutenant does not double-check your notes.
Well, if we're very trustworthy, I don't know why he would need to. Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th, 51.
All right, 4/3/51. I see we're doing the format is day, month, year.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
None, at least not after the initial examination.
What is treatment anyway?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Do you mean by us or by someone else? I'm not so sure.
A silent nod. The lieutenant places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest, as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosenkrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed.
Cop visions. Psychic cop powers. Experience the experiences of other cops.
Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. The building is tall, 7 stories wind-wrapped in solitude. Most of the apartments are unoccupied. This was a suicide, the other an accident, the small one. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
Let's turn the page.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External examination, summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Just checking the undies. We're just going to write it down.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Well, when am I going to get them?
Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity. After the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has helped you, my liege.
Oh, my liege. Drama's quite fancy about it. Let's write it down.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini.
Write it down.
The deceased has a cargo lashing belt around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end.
Write it down.
Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age, about 50. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing.
The spine is bent more than the lieutenant compensated for. This buster's actual height is about 1.85. And no, you could not take him straight on.
Apparently that was a challenging roll. I mean, if Physical Instrument is so sure about it, I guess we'll take his word at it. Let's write down 1.85 meters.
Of course, I undercompensated.
He pockets the tape.
Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
We'll touch the corpse's hair before moving on. I don't know why.
His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person.
Stroke his hair gently.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to your hand, like thread off a ragdoll's head.
Keep petting him.
More hair sticks to your hand. Hair off the rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below. An alien landscape.
Would anything different happen if we keep petting him?
More hair sticks to
No, apparently not.
hair off the
We'll just write it down.
of a dead man.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Who would have done such a thing?
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
We'll keep that as low velocity. Thank you very much, Kuno.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared. As we pet the chain cutters.
The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Oh, the hangman's happy about that. Good thing we got these chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
Oh, Motorix, don't fail me now.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
That is not anything close to what I intend to do.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Let's see. Oh no, it's Physical Instrument, not Motorix. So, pretty good. Before we do that, let's look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast.
Well, let's do it.
After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
Press down.
Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
The lieutenant has kneeled closer, running his finger along the dark red groove, until there's a gap.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
We'll write that down.
Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
Oh yeah, this is where the kids are really going to be interested now.
No, it's gonna happen, see?
Nothing's gonna happen.
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
We should probably inspect them pretty close.
The dead man's penis is average-sized. congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch. You should touch it.
Electrochemistry always seems to have bad ideas. I mean, this is clearly a fine example of genitalia. It's even got marbling is Let's just leave. How about a vote on that? Do we want to touch the genitalia? Let's just make a little. Let's say a little vote on that one. Why not? What does the chat think about us touching the genitalia? You know, if it was another stat that told us to do it, I probably might. The fact that it's electrochemistry that's telling me to do it is yeah, okay. It looks like we're just going to write it down and move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Combat injuries.
Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating, especially the hip. Before you is a temple of pain that knew little tenderness in life.
Well, pain threshold's quite poetic itself.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
This is the body of a soldier, a mercenary.
We have a real museum here, of battles, wars.
We'll write it down.
Last item, hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, and moves on to the other hand. We'll pick up the... I guess? Pick up the hand?
His flesh is cold, icy.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from? And what's your name?
Inland Empire. Bringing us into contact with the corpse again. My name is...
I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. And your name is Il Kobo. What can I do for you, Il Kobo di Cappadocia?
It's good to hold your hand. Did you like it when I stroked your hair?
I did, Kobo, I did. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy, before this happened to my face and my body. You did me a kindness there. We should do this more often. Be close like this. I mean...
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
The dead man's fingers slip from your hand, cold and sausage-like. Well, I mean, as far as I know, Raphael is single, but relationship with a corpse is high maintenance. Were we expecting any injury from struggling?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
We'll write it down.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
All right, internal examination. So, oh yeah, let's get inside.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
You don't even have a joke.
Nope.
Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
That is not anywhere on the body that you would do that. It's like not even close.
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Well, we'll just write that down.
Respiratory system.
Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
He's really doing it. The dead man's teeth cut into his gloved hands.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Let's look inside the mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there, sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like throwing up, straight in that mouth.
Well, I mean, we probably should leave. We probably shouldn't get any of our fluids in the body. Probably would be bad for the investigation.
No, you don't. You can keep it in. You can keep anything in.
That's right, pain thresholds. We're going to look deeper inside. How about that?
You manage to suppress the contractions trying to enter your stomach. All it takes is concentration. Through it, you see nothing but darkness. More meat and darkness.
There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
How much later, Inland Empire?
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
Lieutenant repeats impatiently. He lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut before you. We'll write it down.
Hepatobiliary, NA.
Why? Don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. I don't think so?
Neither am I.
And that's it?
That's it.
Well, okay.
Same for toxicology and serology, NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Brimming with cocaine.
I mean, we couldn't use the cocaine, even if it's in the body. Write NA and add toxicology requested.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Write it down.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around, to the ground, the pool of feces there.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly. We write it down, and of course we keep the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries. Summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
We probably should ask about the injuries we inflicted. We did shoot him right in the chest earlier.
Oh, so we inflicted them?
Okay, I inflicted.
Okay, so there's a spin-stabilized munition from a Kiel A990 muzzleloader lodged in his lung. I don't think we should mention that. Better not to muddy the waters.
Yeah, the waters are muddy, aren't they?
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
The boy nods approvingly.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Who are you asking to fuck who? It's unclear. It's unclear which. Well, let's continue.
Now, injuries.
Bite marks, contusions, ligature mark. What's the fourth? We'll go to bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted.
Write it down.
And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. A, opinion, fatal injury, non-fatal, post-mortem. No, I don't think he was killed by the bite marks.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
Yes, there is a perpetrator who has confessed to a crime. Kuno.
At maximum velocity, fucko.
has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
I'll write it down. We should have the option to put down minimum velocity, though.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
No. Kuno did not murder this man with stones.
Right. Next.
Ligature mark.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. What was that about no clawing around the neck? You'd be clawing for your life.
Yeah, and his hands were not bound or anything. So, well, it kind of sounds like maybe he wasn't killed by the hanging. So I guess we'll put down non-fatal. Lieutenant falls silent abruptly.
A column of cold air encircles you, rising slowly upward in the shape of a courtyard, bordered by cracked plaster, windows, seagulls perched on air conditioning units. A small green enclosure in the middle of a corral of tenements, Cape-side apartments, whirling in rags, and the fortress wall of Terminal B. Above it, a thin blanket of coastal stratus clouds. Higher yet, coalition airships guard over the 21 cordons of the zone of control. The air is crisscrossed with radio transmissions. The hair on your neck rises.
Was I right?
You were.
Why do you say that?
I'm serious. I don't think this was the injury that killed him.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
Probably we probably shouldn't mention the psychic arts. Why didn't he claw at his neck when they hanged him? And why did they not tie his hands? A big man like this is dangerous.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrists. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right. There should be signs of struggle. Let's leave the cause of death empty for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
First, how did it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath.
What else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Oh yeah, well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink is in order?
What now, Kim?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Rip out a copy of the autopsy pages. Oh, by copy, does that mean... Is this one of those things where you have, like the carbon paper underneath your pages, so you're writing a copy as you write the originals?
For processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again. Perception 2, +1. Need reason to pull head off? Number 1, didn't establish probable cause. Do we have a reason to pull his head off? Let's bag him, take him away, let the lieutenant take the body away without further examination, try to remove the boots. Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, loony Rooney.
There is one new option here. At the autopsy, you said you have ancient mysteries.
Oh yes, Kobo Milobo, in the gift horse's mouth. Tracts and wakes and waterways. Ancient materials buried.
Yeah, but to where, brother?
Just a small gulp away. My beloved Kobo. A small gulp away.
Well, Inland Empire also did say that there were mysteries down there.
Come back later, Kobo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
Well, this did go up because we looked in the mouth. What happens if we try to remove the boots in front of Kim?
I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus.
Well, if Kim says so. And it was indicated that we might be able to do this when he's not around. This is still low, even though we have 3+1s. So, okay, we're going to see if the chat can help me out with this. We're going to click on the button, and I believe this is Motorix. So hopefully, let's see if we can get a boost to Motorix. I mean, even if I do, odds are against us that we're going to get this. But we do have a reason to feel that there might be something inside. How would we get it, though? Well, 42% is better than I thought. All right, can we do it? Yes.
Reach out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand.
What is this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent.
Put our fingers in his mouth.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track.
Play with it. This feels right.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, delicate to touch. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in.
Open our eyes and look.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened.
Say, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
All right. Kim endorses this.
Kuno nods, too. He takes a step closer.
Wow, Kuno genuinely curious. Touch it with our finger, gently.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Put our finger in.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
Brainstem.
Yes, that's what this part is called.
Okay.
You've seen the drawings. You've studied them.
Let's feel around in there.
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. The funk soul brother at the back of his head has gone dark forever.
Electrochemistry mourns. Let's push deeper.
Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
There's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Kuno's voice is hushed. Push deeper.
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to do this the physical instrument way and punch a hole through his mouth.
The cartilage gives in with a crack, like some fruit. Just like that, your hand is in his head. Strange fluid streams down your wrist, and then you feel it with the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. The pain is barely noticeable under the adrenaline rush.
I feel a solid object right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
He searches his pockets for something. We'll inspect the skull first.
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
The lieutenant leans closer.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
I don't know what a fuck puppet is. I mean, if you said sock puppet, then yes, but that's not the word you said. Precise spot of exit wound. Punched a hole. 83%. Let's go for it. All right.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. Feels sharp, like metal. You press your teeth together. Your jaw is clenched. All you need to do is just...
I got it.
My pig's fucking got it?
Yeah, your pig's fucking got it.
What? What is it?
Slowly pull our fingers out.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
Fucking beautiful!
A bullet.
The lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it. We drop it in.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Keep it, Lieutenant, as a gift.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later.
Lieutenant drops the bag in our bloody hand. It feels light.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
Goddamn right.
And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Dead. Dabba doop doop.
Deadity dead.
Agreed.
I have had my doubts for a while now, since I saw there were no signs of struggle on his hands, and no claw marks on his neck. There have been other signs too, small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
We didn't fall for it. he thinks. There's pride in there.
Who would do this?
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
Why would anyone do this?
To hide something. The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here?
I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really, really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
I would love to use my room in the evening. There's a bit of a problem with that, but we're talking about the autopsy right now. Maybe the bullet holds more answers.
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
What happens next?
We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. The body bag should contain the odor for the duration of the transport. I would drive him to processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. No problem. One more thing. This was really good work, Detective.
Hey, we got a compliment from Kim. It healed some of our damaged morale. Let's drag him to the kinema.
All right.
He takes out a shiny black body bag and starts pulling the plastic over the dead man's face.
There go those beautiful enamel boots. You will never own the full set now. May they rest in processing.
Well, easy come, easy go, I guess.
I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
We bag the corpse and drag it to the motor carriage. Boots are overrated. I mean, wearing a full set of upper body armor and nothing on the lower body, that's where it's at. That's real style right there. Alright, let's take a look at some things. So yes, we did get some points. But I believe we can also unlock some thoughts. Like we can spend a skill point to unlock a thought slot. And we did have this, Mazovian socioeconomics, become big old communist. And we can internalize that. So, -2 to visual calculus, but I mean, it's not like that's come up that often. It did come up, actually, once during the autopsy there. Wash off the death smell? There's a bathtub in that room, isn't there? There sure is. Interview the Wild Pines rep. Let's see. We have evidence fractured bullet. The bullet mushroomed out on impact. It now looks more like a fanciful jacket button than something that could pierce skin, flesh, and bone. So I guess the idea here is that whoever actually killed the guy was someone with a gun. They mentioned a rifle. And presumably that's not something that's common. Like a bunch of people beating up a man and hanging him. That's something that anyone could do, really. But a rifle is not exactly something that just anyone could have, possibly. Also, the gunshot sounded pretty precise. So maybe a marksman? Maybe an assassin? Someone who would be able to make a shot like that? Possibly. Let's interact.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found. Beside his orderly handwriting, the bullet looks especially sad, like a tiny, shriveled head of cauliflower.
What do I do with you, Bullet?
What?
I said, what do I do with you, Bullet?
Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say, find the weapon that shot me.
Ooh, good idea.
If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
Let's feel the bullet through the bag.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag.
Inspect the bullet closer.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
Look at the jacket.
You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard.
And the core?
It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
It's a jacketed bullet, close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader, like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Military grade.
We were right. This came from a serious weapon.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Something tells you that won't be any time soon. This'll have to be one of those epic tasks that's open for a while.
Wow. Well, 3% isn't zero. Oh, that did damage our morale.
What makes you think you're going to remember arcane firearm models?
That is true. Alright, we hurt ourselves. We're constantly at the lowest of morale. We sometimes get points back, but then we also hurt ourselves. Alright, we also do have a point that we could put in one of these stats, like maybe volition, to increase our morale a bit. Let's see. What would be a good point? Something good to put a point into. Like with some of the ones that are higher, I wonder if there's a reason to keep... I'm not really sure how this works in particular. Like the ones that are already high, is there a reason to keep putting points into them? Because clearly more points can be put into them, but is it really helpful to do that? Or would it be better to just buff up the low checks? Sorry, the low stats. Like, say, maybe some of these intellect stats. Or are these so low that there's no real point in trying to help them out anymore? Volition, of course, would give us 1 more point of morale, and also would also have Volition speak up a bit more, which is the more reasonable stat. Motorix comes up every so often. Well, maybe we'll just think about that for a little bit. Find the murder weapon. We performed a ballistics analysis on the bullet. We need to perform an advanced analysis using hand-eye coordination. Right, and that is the stat that we need to use to do that legendary check. And apparently, I guess we have to succeed at that at some point if we're going to find the murder weapon. That seems like a very important quest as far as, you know, solving this murder goes. And it does specifically say that hand-eye coordination is what we have to use for that. So maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we're going to level up hand-eye coordination.
Yes?
Let's see. Is there anything new to talk about? Convince Kim that there's a sexy dark mystery twist. Oh, that is still quite low, even though Inland Empire is 5. I don't know. The fact that we found this mystery gun that's actually the murder weapon seems like a pretty dark, sexy mystery twist. Oh, let's So, well, let's like that. Let's save a game for right now. Well, we were in the murder scene. And of course, there is someone in the murder scene that we could talk to.
Necromancer pig. That shit was dark. Going in there like that. Oh, brutal shit. Tell me.
Yeah, we are basically a necromancer.
Kuno dies. You're gonna pick one out of his brain like that too? Kuno's gonna go out in a hail of bullets. Gonna look like a fucking porcupine.
Kuno, if you die in a hail of bullets, I promise I will pull them out of your body.
Porta Rosa, a side alley of the Boogie Street Spearhead. A young man in his early 20s approaches patrol officer Emile Mullins and asks for a cigarette. As Officer Mullins reaches in his coat pocket for the pack of Astra he just purchased this morning, the man shoots him point blank in his chest. Breathless, the patrol officer collapses in the gutter. His right hand is grabbing the armor on his chest. The bullet didn't pierce it, but he can't breathe. On the pavement, the patter of the perpetrator's feet growing distant. Bleed, pig, someone opens a window and says, but Emile cannot see who. His sight grows dim with pain.
I'll be there for you, Kuno.
Yeah.
There's a dreamy look in his eyes. What is this on? 42%. That's better than it has been. It's -1 though because Kuno dominated us, so this could be better. By the way, I talked to Manana about the armor.
So?
He raises his eyebrows, projecting aggressive indifference. You told me you promised to sick the pigs on him?
Yeah, so? Kuno did sick the pigs on him. Kuno's a man of his word.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like Jello.
My ass is very toned. Physical instrument has told me this. It does not shake like Jello.
Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on.
I'll remember this, Kuno.
You got fucked. You got fucked, pig. Fucked bad. Of course you're gonna remember this. Now get the fuck out of here, griefing the Kuno. After this shit, you better have something real interesting to say if you want to stay in Kuno's face.
Yeah, real interesting.
I want to discuss this body with you again, Kuno.
The fuck about it?
It doesn't seem like there's anything new.
You're testing Kuno's patience here.
Get lost.
What about the crime scene?
Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it?
All right, there is something new. There is something new here. Kuno, there's a stack of Eternite back there.
That's just some shit roofing gimps left behind. Lazy dinks.
Nothing else?
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit.
Well, wonder if we can get this any better. Well, I'm off.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
We were interested in the Eternite. That.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite.
Right, I failed this check before. Still 28%. Well, let's see if we can increase the motoric stat at all. Because clearly we have to notice something about this. Like, we're interested in it for some reason. And I guess we won't know why we're interested in it until we pass this check. 42%. Let's go. Oh. Failed again.
Because it's nice and orderly. Well-laid pallets. Easy on the eyes.
I don't feel like I should have died from morale because of that.
No. There's more to this. You get this strange feeling.
What feeling?
Hard to say. It's gone now. Feelings pass, you see. Especially the small ones.
Well, maybe we can get a better feeling about it later. But we still don't know what this is. It's something. We know that. We don't know what. We've already looked at this before. I don't know if there's anything new to observe.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots.
Yeah, we're not even trying that visual calculus one. Anything new to say, Kuno-S?
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
You there, behind the fence.
You don't want to fuck with me. I got my hands bloody. I'm not here, pig. You're not seeing this.
You can still see the top of her hat from behind the fence.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
Hey, kid.
What's this kid shit? Fucking mind games. I'd rather die than squeal.
Get the fuck out of here, face. You got done. Talk to me.
I'll die before I squeal, pig.
What are these strange words you use, girl?
I come from the woods, good Davidu. You don't want to go there with me. You don't want to see what I've seen.
Don't be traumatizing here. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's anything new. I don't suppose there's anything new about the dumpster.
The trash containers. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
Yeah, nothing new there.
Container sounds a muffled gong.
Alright, just wanted to check around to see if there was anything else in the crime scene, anything new. So, we have not been able to pass the check on the Eternite yet, and there's also a check to figure Kuno out. That has actually been buffed up at this point, but I feel like we'll probably take a point of morale damage if we lose that one, and maybe we can still buff that up again. Let's try the whirling in rags. What's going on here at night? It is getting late in the day, and we really don't have any money. So it seems like it could be a problem. Oh, we got things are bustling here at the whirling.
Hello again, sweetie.
Nothing new from Lena. This guy's new. Oh, what's that?
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already?
Well, pretty long, honestly.
Attaboy. It's coming back to him. You had your mesolimbic reward pathway worried there, not thinking about drinking all that time. It was like you weren't yourself.
Well, should I be thinking about drinking? Drinking hasn't turned out too well.
Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking. Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade to yourself, boy. Or better yet, lick that stain off the counter.
Well, alcohol is expensive, but that stain on the counter is free. And we'd be a fool to turn down free.
Calmly, the lieutenant looks out of the window, then to you, licking the tasty rum stain off the counter, then out of the window again.
Kim's giving us our privacy.
What are you doing?
Investigating.
We should move.
A real drink would go well with those cigarettes you're looking for. That's a great combination.
Gotta spend money to make money. And here's this guy who is still asleep.
The worker is in a deep slumber. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from, into the primordial darkness.
This guy's been asleep all day. This door, of course, is still a mystery.
See, a heavy steel.
Nothing we can do with that, I don't think. Alright, looks like the only person we can talk to is Gart, which should go very well.
Can I help you?
I need a drink?
Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker?
No, that's a hand.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this?
He shakes the imaginary shaker furiously.
Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why?
Because you're not a bartender?
That's right. I'm the cafeteria manager. I'm glad we cleared that. Is there anything else?
What you want is a goddamn drink. How is that so hard to understand?
Please make an exception. I got the shakes bad, man. I need my pacifier.
Even more reason for me not to serve you, sir. Was there anything else you needed, other than alcohol?
What else is there other than alcohol? I guess not. I guess we could try to, like, sneak our way up the stairs. Well, I mean, it didn't stop us from going up the stairs. Wonder if she's in there.
The door is closed.
No, seems like it's still locked. Is there anything we can do out on the balcony with Kim out here? Or is there anything, or is that just the same? Doesn't seem like there's anything different. Yeah. So it looks like Gart locked the door. Well, that's a shame. I wanted to show Kim our room. And our, how we redecorated it. I'm sure he'd be very impressed. Wonder if the gardener here has anything to say about us taking the body down. She wasn't able to work back there because of the smell, but... let's see, what she thinks about that.
It's raining again.
The young woman looks up at the overladen sky.
It was clear just an hour ago.
Does not seem like there's anything new there. Why is this orange, by the way? Find booze and drink it. The hangover feels really bad. You have to take the edge off. Find a bottle of alcohol, put it in your hand, and the magic will happen by its own. I see. There's racist lorry driver. There's some stuff we haven't looked around out here yet.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine.
Look in the window.
The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia.
What kind of stickers and insignia?
The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels.
Oh yeah, I've seen cars like that driving down the highway. What about the back seat?
The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy.
Lieutenant nods towards the racist lorry driver. You think this lorry belongs to our tough guy?
Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
He was acting tough before. This probably scared him a bit. Who knows when it will come in handy, a slightly scared, racist lorryman.
Well, I don't know if that guy could come in handy, but I guess you never know. Foreign car, kept in good condition. Some kind of monument. An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it has been reassembled piece by piece, secured and mounted in the air, with the aid of numerous ropes and rods. Who is this? A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, I am Philippe III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philippe II the Opulent, father of Philippe IV the Insane. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, what's this here?
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Yes, calling it a day. Well, I owe the cafeteria manager a lot of money, Kim.
You should take care of that, then.
I have almost, not quite, but almost 7 real, Kim.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Well, I'm glad I have your support on this, Kim. Try negotiating with Gart. Hey, do you think, just putting it out here, do you think racist lorry driver is, just going to be standing out here all night? It sounded like there was a fair amount of room in his cab. Like, oh no, racist lorry driver isn't here. Maybe he's went back to his cab. I was thinking maybe if it was empty, sounds like I could maybe just, sleep there for the night. Yeah, at night the streets are emptier. People head into bed. And I guess if we just stayed up even longer, eventually everyone would have gone to sleep. About all that money that I owe you for destroying the room.
Can I help you?
About that money I owe.
Yes, have you got it?
I was wondering, since we're two reasonable men, that we could come to some kind of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Oh, Kim wants to say something. Well, things don't seem to go well when we talk, so maybe let's let Kim talk.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However,
he adjusts his glasses.
I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and...
He stops mid-sentence.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
Well, I mean, I still have my key.
Good luck trying to use it.
He taps his foot against a metal box installed in the back of the counter.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock.
Well, it seems like this conversation isn't going anywhere.
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Well, all right, let's go to Kim's car and see what he has in mind. Kim, do you think I could get a grappling hook and, climb up the outside to the room? Just a thought.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage.
All right, well, what's in there?
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
What are they?
There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
Now, what do you mean you confiscated them?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
I get it. I would have confiscated them too. They're mesmerizing.
That they are. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Did you want to put them on your car, Kim?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Yes, outrageously cool.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
Oh, we made Kim smile. I'm sorry you have to sell them because of me.
As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
But thank you.
You said something about a pawn shop?
Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called Roy's Nest or something. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Thanks. I appreciate your help.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Take the spinner hubcaps, local pawn shop south of the plaza. The magnificent hubcap spinners that Lieutenant Kitsuragi had donated to you so you can pay for your room at the Whirling. They are slate blue and shimmer haughtily in the light. Man, thinking about it, I have not seen spinners on a car in quite a few years. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw that, and that was a while ago. Some great tectonic force cracked the pavement like an eggshell. An ancient fountain. It doesn't pump water anymore. There's a tree in it. Oh, what's it? What was that? A sewer grate. A gateway to the river of filth. It sure is. Alright, here it is. Speaking of which, we might want to ask this man if maybe we sold our gun here. As it sounded like maybe we sold our gun here. Let's have a look around. Some kind of machine. An antique cash register? The bust of a woman. The plaque simply says, Day. In the dark, a film projector is whirring away. Mostly military wear, with a few more eccentric fashions thrown in. A few things we can look at.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back.
Win her back?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine.
I can't afford anything nice, Inland Empire. Let's inspect the knights on horseback.
Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks. The kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Who are they?
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
A long, long time ago.
Kim's a history buff, perhaps. Inspect the blue uniforms.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Are these Royalist soldiers?
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like the bright colours indiscriminately.
And the figurines in rags?
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
Are these even soldiers?
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the Royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
It's impossible to win against the cohorts of capital. Ask my friend Garth, whose bitch it made me.
Okay. I don't like either set too much, to be honest.
Okay, interfacing. 42%. Dig up a truly cool figurine in a... It doesn't matter if we find a truly cool figurine. We cannot afford a figurine.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Someone pawned a streetlight?
The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently.
Is this a streetlight?
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
Where did you get the streetlight?
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property.
He leans in so the pawnbroker doesn't hear him.
You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
He pauses, studying the light. How much for the streetlight?
700 real. A bargain, I dare say.
Yeah, think of all the things you could do with a streetlight of your very own.
A bargain? No, it's not. He's trying to sweet-talk you into buying trash.
Even taking into account the risk of obtaining the light, that does seem a bit steep.
There's also the matter of rewiring, but the most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
So if we have 700 real, we can buy the street light. We don't need to know about this light. It is curious to know if there was something we could do with the light, but that is not something that's likely, at least not right now.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels.
Stand on the tips of our toes to see more.
One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Shopkeep, the Stereo 8 approved machine here
is the Harman Welsh W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
Well, I mean, a superstar cop should have his own soundtrack, so this boombox clearly is something that we would need, but we can't afford. What I really want to know is, could this device come handy in my police work?
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
Are you sure this is all in working order?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music.
What, all music altogether? I mean, certainly I've heard people say that they don't like certain genres. It's not common that you see someone who says, I just don't like music, as, you know, just in general. Music as a concept. Not for me. Don't hear that often. I guess let's leave. Alright, let's talk to him directly.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop.
The man at the counter turns to you slowly, though he probably has seen us once before.
What can I do for you?
He asks.
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Oh, that does sound relaxing. Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately, RCM or otherwise.
Well, it doesn't sound like he recognizes us.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake. People who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Quite the collection. I may have something to add for it.
It keeps me entertained.
His attention is drawn once more to the play of light and shadow on the walls behind you.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what?
Well... Okay, let's see if we can find out electrochemistry.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard, he's probably on Pyrrolidon. It's tough to come by on the street.
Pyrrolidon? What is that?
A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Is it just me, or is it really warm in here?
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
No judgment, just curious. I probably did loads of Pyrrolidon before I lost my memory.
I've had to take it. You know, since the People's Pile cleanup. I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade.
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
The People's Pile? Tell me about that.
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too.
Man, it seems like just everything went bad for Martinez. It's nothing good is happening. I mean, it's no wonder why the Union love Evrart so much. Like, he's kind of the only good thing that's happened to a lot of the people here. Tell me more about this emergency relief brigade you were a part of.
We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized. Tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
Tough son of a gun, this one. Respect.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick.
Must have been tough. Radioactive cleanup.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. And why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile.
Maybe we could try to repair or replace the pile. It's probably not anything beyond our capabilities.
So much disappointment. And early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could.
Whose fault was it that the generator failed?
No one's. Everyone's.
He sighs and shakes his head.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen?
How did you end up running a pawn shop?
The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forberg as I can. Still in the same city, but...
Ah, so it wasn't in Martinez, but not that far away from it. Thanks for telling me.
I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
By the way, do you happen to have any guns? Like the ones carried by officers of the Citizens Militia? Like us? Like me, specifically?
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
Okay, he does recognize us. We did pawn our gun here, and he sold it to someone, a woman.
What? Sold? The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another. Alert.
Wait, I sold you my gun?
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
Photon emissions? Kind of curious about what these police guns are like. Was the buyer a policeman too?
She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it. And of her.
I mean, yeah, he does run a pawn shop. If someone wanted one of the items that's available, I mean, yeah, he's gonna sell it.
Truth be told, she was terrifying.
I don't know if we've met anyone who we would describe like this, though.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
There's only one explanation. She must be one of my rabid fans.
In that case, she'll be happy to get a visit from us, if we can find her.
Any idea where I can find this buyer?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and the Union can track her down in time.
Have people from Everard Clare's Union come to track that gun?
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They asked if I have a police weapon to sell. I told them I already sold it. They went their way. It was a trip, but you know, all sorts of people come here, asking for all sorts of things.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
Well, at least now I know how I lost my sidearm. Let's talk about something else.
Of course.
Care to share your drugs with me?
You said you'd done it before, yeah?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved. Go ahead then, he thinks. As long as you can walk straight, I don't care.
I haven't, honestly. But don't worry, I can take it.
If you say so. Here you go, man.
He presents a large cap-shaped object on the palm of his hand. Very odd-looking.
Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Straight into your gut.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
I got experience for that, and the drugs, and he's just giving it for free, which is surprising. You might be able to aid our investigation.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have.
Know anything about the recent hanging?
I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business. bad for everyone.
No one likes to see what you have to see every day.
You know anything about the Wild Pines representative that's in town?
Can't say I'm a huge admirer of Wild Pines. And I can't say I trust any silver-tongued spokesperson of theirs. Fortunately, I have no reason to get involved.
But wait, what do you have against Wild Pines?
What should I have for it?
Touché, I guess. Have you met the Wild Pines rep?
No, just people like that make everyone else see the world somewhat askew, at an angle that is convenient for them. Now, you have more questions, or are we?
Oh, that's all I got.
The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
There's something I'd like to sell.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Lieutenant steps in and hands him the spinners.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump-a-mesque banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
Wow, these spinners are the real thing.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
The lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens the register and counts the cash.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you.
He takes the cash, then turns to you.
Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
I wasn't going to use it for anything else. Though I guess we could use it for something else.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I mean, the Fritas probably still open. I'd like to sell my clothes. Wait, do I want to sell my clothes? I didn't come here to sell my clothes. I have a fascinating photo of a corpse here.
Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale.
Do you know what the tattoos mean?
Photic paths, counter-radiance networks, anti-magnetism. It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something lighter.
Let me check my pockets.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
So you can sell the pen, the postcard, the photo of the happy couple. Let's see. The laminated postcard, a glimpse across the river. Black and white photo of a couple posing in front of a Ferris wheel. Let's see. Now, the thing is, we've used the pen before. It's because we had the pen that we were able to write in the ledger, which indicates that you can use these items for something. I don't know if they're important, but in the case of the pen, at least, we were able to use that for something. And I assume that if you sold it, then you wouldn't have been able to do that. So I don't actually know if we should be selling these. Well, we won't for right now, at least. I don't think I need to sell anything immediately, though maybe we will. I like to sell my clothes.
I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment.
Well, okay. I mean, I was talking about the clothes I'm wearing that smell like a corpse. I don't expect I'd get much for it. I don't have anything to sell at the moment.
Another time, perhaps.
Yeah, let's leave. All right. Well, we got the money. Kim coming through for us. Of course, that's only for tonight, and after tonight, we would still have to pay rent. At least this pays for the damages and the alcohol bill, and tonight's rent, I believe, is what was covered. But he did say that we would have to pay rent every day. Let's just save the game for right now.
Can I help you?
The money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
Actually, yes. I'm as surprised as you.
Well?
I'm sorry for the trouble.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
All right, so we're going to have to find 14 real tomorrow if we want to sleep again.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
It's probably better if we don't go for a drink. At least not until we have possibly found a more reliable way of getting the money we will need on a daily basis. Is this Kim's room? Is that the room he's going to use?
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Yes, redecorated. That's what I'm saying. It's an interesting look. Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Oh, sure. All right, let's go.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
There it is.
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically.
He lights a cigarette. I didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
How did he get so cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
He flicks the ash. I think I might want to pick up smoking. You have any more cigarettes?
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night while going over my notes.
One and only one.
Below, the city trembles with its remaining lights. People are rushing home, running away from home, smoking, sleeping, singing in the shower. Edges of dining tables, hands, aprons flicker through windows before the lights go out.
Right then, the debrief.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
Oh, yeah, a lot of stuff happened, really, yeah. How do you think today went?
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it. Our inspection could have been more thorough, as it always can, but we have some leads we can follow up on.
I don't know if I agree with that, Kim. I'm not sure we could have gotten more thorough than that inspection. I put my fingers in his brain, Kim.
Then you shot him in the chest, which wasn't ideal. But we did manage to get him down from the tree. So as they say, all's well that ends well.
Yeah, we can ignore that, the gunshot to the chest. I just wanted to make sure he was really dead.
Right. Then we performed the field autopsy on the victim. We found some things we can really work with. Moreover, you found that the hanged man wasn't just hanged, he was also shot. That was some excellent detective work. And you managed to locate and pull out the bullet, so we can get ballistics, make off the gun. All this is invaluable.
Yeah, I'm a professional. I'm a professional policeman.
The rest is up to the boys in processing. Maybe they will surprise us by doing their job for once, but I wouldn't count on it. There's still work to be done at the crime scene, however. We mustn't forget that. Now for the interviews.
He takes a deep drag and looks at the city. I love doing interviews, and people love me. They love bathing in my glory.
I'm sure. Well, we conducted an interview with our player. He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information, however.
He's a tough cookie, that one.
Claire also helped you, how should I say, remember your name? That's a relief.
I want a different name, one I haven't ruined yet.
You can look into the process of changing your name after we finish this investigation. We didn't talk to the Wild Pines rep. We really must do that tomorrow. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
Oh, no, I just happen to be in phenomenal shape, Kim.
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait to hear electrochemistry's theory on that. I don't know why I do the things I do, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills.
Oh yeah, our awesome green shoes. He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on his cigarette. I wonder if he would have said something different if we never wore the shoes.
Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
He looks at your snakeskin shoes and smiles suddenly.
Thank you for the compliment. We could manage it even in wooden clogs. There are uncanny running reservoirs in this body. God knows why.
What are our powers exactly, the RCM?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
1,000? But why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol.
Well, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
A station call slip. So the arrestee is just gonna show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
I see. And if someone resists?
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power.
So if I kill someone while on duty...
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness.
What an unrealistic setting.
Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
He taps his coat pocket, where he keeps his notes. And who makes all these rules?
The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
His gaze is absently fixed on a window below that just went dark.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Not even quite sure of their origins. Let's say it was the citizens.
Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moral Intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
The Moral Intern, what is that?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I didn't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
I don't think we know about the Humanist Project. What's their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something ominous. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner.
Who is Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
So basically, Dolores Day is I guess a political philosopher whose ideology was the one who won out over the others, I guess?
For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say why.
Maybe we should find out who she was. What do you think of them?
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
I have an opinion on the moral intern.
Do you?
Lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. This is a very YouTube opinion right there. I guess this is a part where we can express our own forming political opinions. Well, I mean, I guess that we are internalizing communism, so probably the more accurate one for us would be we're stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting bourgeois rights.
No, we are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes.
Maybe we should make our own law.
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
Yeah, that actually brings up something I was wondering. Even if we find the murderer, how do we arrest someone? Since the cops apparently don't have much power here, and the organization that does have the power is the Union. And from what we've been seeing, it kind of seems like maybe the Union is behind the murder. So how would we actually arrest anyone, even if we knew who killed the guy, is a question. Issue a slip? One of the slips that Kim just mentioned that says, you're arrested, and you have to come to the police station at, whenever you want to, because you're arrested now. Maybe we'll issue one of those slips.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over.
Monday is over is a beautiful phrase in any society. Let's look into the night.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks.
And in Jamrock and the GRIH?
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky.
It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
Well, I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, or at least do some kind of good.
Me too. but I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Thank you for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
All right. End the conversation. So the rent side quest has been updated. Find 20 Royale to pay for the whirling. As long as I don't have a free place to stay, I have to do this every night. That's an interesting way of wording it. As long as I don't have a free place to stay. So can I get a free place to stay? I have 3 points. So that's something that we could buff some skills with, or unlock another one of these for whenever I get... I'm 53% with communism. Unlock another one of these, perhaps. Alright, I guess we're gonna go to our rooms. See you in the morning.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful.
The option to go to sleep becomes available every night after 2100. Sure. Let's crawl in. We paid for the night.
The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come.
I'm very familiar, yes.
And then sleep doesn't come.
But I want to sleep.
Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening.
Why?
Maybe it's the bed's fault.
We'll check the pillow.
Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly.
Check the blanket.
It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily.
Well, let's roll over to the other side.
It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it?
Who killed him? Who?
Something to do with... What was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves.
No more thoughts. Fall asleep now.
Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Oh. Well, I guess let's walk out into the dreamscape. Is there a dream, Kuno? Doesn't seem like it.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
I remember nothing.
Do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
You said, who?
Do you remember the warmth of her thighs between her legs and in her mouth?
Well, from what we read, I think we were left.
That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
I can get it all back.
No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium.
What is Elysium?
Everything. The Pale and the Isolas on the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people, and you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
I think we can come back from this.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown? Who are you kidding?
I'm trying to solve the case.
You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
God, there's another type.
Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
I mean, who says we took our clothes off at all to go to sleep? Yeah, see? We still got them on. That's efficient.
Good going, buddy.
Oh my god. What the hell was that?
Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night.
What the hell is going on with me?
You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
Why is this happening?
It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
Wait, what is speed?
Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor? You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago. With me. To wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die. Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. It's that simple.
No, we can take this. We're not going to go looking for speed.
Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
That's a lie. I can do this without the speed. Half the town won't be dead.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Well, don't know how true that is if we were just loaded up with speed the previous day. But hey, we got to sleep and all of our morale is back. So we won't die from being embarrassed. Not immediately yet. We're going to save the game. All right, well, that was very eventful, and now it is day 2, and we have, we examined that body, we found the bullet in the head, we finally paid off our debt at the hotel, thanks to Kim, and he didn't have to do that for us, but he did. And we had a little chat with him on the balcony where we went over the events of the day and what we learned on the investigation. But now day 2 is starting. We're going to just clean up, we're going to talk to Kim, and we're going to figure out what form the investigation should take as we enter day 2 of Disco Elysium. And we're going to take a little break and come back with that.